All right, hello there. I'm going to do my first video. It's even though this is a motorcycle channel, it's really going to be probably mostly motorcycle adventuring and also a little bit of motor speedway. Two things that I have an interest in. I'm going to show a video of me making my way around the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Mario Andretti Racing Experience. I did this almost 10 years ago, and what I'll do is I will sort of narrate as I run through the film of the video that was taken that day. They put a GoPro on the back of the car. There's no Bluetooth. At that time, GoPro did not have the ability, I don't believe, to do GoPro or do Bluetooth transmissions through helmet. The helmet that I was wearing, so you're not going to catch that. So what I'll do is I'll narrate as I'm going around the track. The cars were a couple things first. The cars were governed to go only a certain amount of RPMs, and that translates to around 165 miles an hour. So 165 miles is the top speed that you could go in these cars, and you'll see that I did manage to run the car at its top speed that was allowed to me. And to get it to that top speed, the cars do not let you change gears. So once you get going, and I'm not sure how they do this or what the transmission system is called, but once you get going, there's no changing gears. You just sort of hit the accelerator and you just run up the car as fast as it'll go. It's almost like there's only like one gear. When I first take off, I had to kind of manipulate the clutch a little bit to get the car into gear, and then from there it just sort of goes. There's no switching gears, and they obviously, it was probably done that way for drivers, inexperienced drivers who don't need to be bothered with switching gears. They'll, on their one and perhaps only time that they will run in an Indy car. So they simplified it quite a bit. The other thing you'll notice is that the cars, there'll be some times when I will get passed by a professional driver. Our cars, if you're a single driver car, you're governed to only go a top speed of 165 miles an hour. Where the professional drivers, it's a two-seater, they really are not governed. They can go just about as fast as they want. They typically, I was told, they go around 180, which is a pretty good speed on those tracks. And what they have, it's a two-seater, and they are usually driving someone who either one doesn't want to drive in the car, two, it's a lot less expensive. So you get the experience of being in a race car going through Charlotte Motor Speedway at a much lower price point. Or they're not old enough to drive. So there were a lot of kids that were driving with the professional drivers, which I think is really cool. At first I was like, I wouldn't want to do that because I want to drive the car myself. But the professional drivers, they have full run of the track. They go as fast as they want, and they're passing everybody. So that would actually be a pretty cool experience too. I probably would not mind doing that sometime in the future. I'll go ahead and start the track. Did this on July 2014, almost 10 years ago. Almost 10 years ago, about 9 years ago, almost to the day. That's the pit crew guy. He basically was talking to me, telling me, giving me a lot of things, what not to do, things to do properly. Right now you can't hear it, but I am speaking to someone through my headset, and they're talking to me, making sure we're having a conversation. He's just making sure that the headset works so that the communication will not fail. And I'm about to start here any moment now. But that's basically what it was. So what will happen is when I start going here, right now my foot is down on the clutch, and then I'm going to release it and go forward. That car that just went by, I think they were waiting to let me go until after the driver went by. And then once I'm in gear, you just go. The the car, I was half afraid that I was going to stall it out because the clutch, you know how it is when you're in any new car that you're not familiar with. You're not familiar with the clutch. They're all different. And I was fortunate I did not stall the car on the start here. Yeah, there I go. What I'll do is I'll be driving through here, and I'll be going through the interior lane first. It's just like in the if you've ever been to a race and they come out of pit lane here, they sort of take this interior track, and then sometime around the turn, I'll go through turn 1, and then after turn 2, I'm on the straightaway, and that's when I'm told to kind of goose it up a little bit and get going. Now the car, the guy you see here, I'll be taking this interior lane. That they do not want me to go out onto the regular track. Part of that is also because, I'll go over this real quick, is that you'll see there's the banked curve. You can see the bank. Now the part that I'm on is perfectly flat. So what happens is it's really tough to sometimes navigate from a perfectly flat surface to one that's banked like that, because the wheels, you don't want one set of tires on a banked curve and the other one on the flat surface, because that's a surefire way to make you spin out. And now I'm going, he told me to goose it up, going as fast as was comfortable to get into the track. And I'm going on the track. So right now I'm just sort of feeling everything out. He's watching me. I'm working with the car. You'll notice as I get going, you'll see my head kind of bouncing around a little bit. You feel like you're about an inch off the ground when you're going through this, on these cars. And also the wind. It wasn't a windy, I don't recall it being a windy day, but when you're going, right now I'm probably doing maybe 100 miles an hour. When you're doing speed like that, you don't really have a window in front of you to keep the wind from hitting you, in the helmet. Your helmet catches, even though it's a round helmet, there's still a little bit of a lip in the front, so that it will catch the wind just a little bit. And it will, you'll see my head kind of bouncing around a little bit. These cars are also real super sensitive, so you probably won't be able to see it, but as I take the turns, you're not going to see my hands move a whole lot because it is super, super sensitive. You barely have to move that wheel to make it turn. One thing that you'll see coming up here is that the person I'm communicating with, they will tell you to slow down and give left when a professional driver is showing up. So it's basically a safety protocol. They don't want you to block out or to race against the professional driver or really against anyone. Safety is the number one thing that they have in mind. So when the professional driver is coming up, they're basically saying, the guy speaking to me in the headset is saying, slow down, professional driver. Okay, professional driver just went by me. So you notice I was in the far left lane, and I slowed down. Now with these Indy cars, because they have that big fin on the back, that creates a lot of downdraft on the car, and you can really feel that resistance when these cars are super fast, and even though you've got the pedal down as far as it'll go, and that car is really screaming, trying to go as fast as it can, you can really feel it pulling you into the track. And it does that for obvious reasons, right? That car is going really fast, and the most important thing is to give it traction and grip with those tires, and it does that with that draft from that fin, and it really keeps you down. It does such a good job of it that you don't even really need to hit the brakes. Just let up a little bit on the accelerator. I think on this entire run, I don't remember hitting the brakes. Maybe I did a couple times, but as soon as you let off the accelerator just a little bit, it slows the car down a lot. It's like you're hitting the brakes almost. And here the guy, he's basically trying to get a confidence level with me, or with any of the drivers. How good is this person handling it? Do they look like they can, manage the speed of the car? And at that point, right now, he's probably telling me to go about as fast as I want to. So I'm probably doing maybe 140 to 150 through here. Still getting some confidence in the car. It's the first time I've ever been in an open wheel car, so I'm not really wearing it out just yet. Now the professional driver will come up on me here any minute now, and after he burns by me, I have to slow down and give left. After he goes past me, I hit it as fast as I can. I actually tried to catch up to him, but he's allowed to go so much faster. His car is not governed to go at a slower speed. Okay, there he goes. Here I am just trying to wear it out. I am hitting it as hard as I can, and this is where I got my top speed. I'm sure of it. So my top speed that day was 165 on this straightaway here. I'm trying to catch the professional driver. I can't. He's going about 180, but he's not. I can still see him on the curve up ahead. So I got up pretty close to his speed. I mean, he's still leaving me in the dust, but I'm making my car go as fast as I can. And I would say this straightaway right here is probably when I was going my fastest. This is probably about here where I hit my 165 top mark. Maybe around here too. But it was a lot of fun. I've always thought that I would go back. I never have, but I probably will someday. They have the NASCAR experience as well. I've always grew up with Indy cars, and IndyCar racing is what I just like it more. I don't hate NASCAR. A lot of people have this thing where they think they have to dislike one racing type over the other. I love them both, actually. But I grew up with Indy cars. I've been to the Indy 500 a few times. So I wanted to run an open wheel car. And I'm going pretty good here. This might have been my top speed here. After the professional driver ran past me, I did run it as hard as it would go. And I could tell that the car was governed as well. Well, I could tell it was wanting to go faster. Once the car hits that governor level, it's still screaming, but you're not getting any more speed. And here the race is basically over. So what they do is they tell you, good run, turn left here, get in the interior lane, and slow down. Right now I'm probably doing about 100 miles. Actually, right here I'm not even doing that. I'm probably doing about 60 to 80, if that even. And it feels like you're dragging. So just like a minute earlier, I was doing about 165 miles an hour. Here I'm doing 100 miles an hour less. And it just feels like you're dragging. You don't feel like you're ever going to get there. They ask you to slow it down quite a bit here because they don't want you. You'll see the visibility is sort of not there because you have this turn here and you got this yellow wall there in the way. But as soon as you come around here, there's the pit crew lane. So they're really always in your ear. Slow down, slow down, slow down, and so forth. So it'll end right here. I had a lot of fun at the race, doing the Mario Andretti Racing Experience. Should you ever want to do this sort of thing, I highly recommend it. Prices have come down compared to what they were about 10 years ago. Or if they've gone up, they haven't gone up that much. But I still remember I looked at it, they came down. But one thing I noticed is they have longer racing experiences that you can do. When I went, I bought the biggest package I could. I drove for about, I think 8 minutes. I bought the 8-minute package. I was actually in the car a little longer than that. But now I think you can run it, and I think you can go for almost an hour now, or thereabouts, which would be really cool. So I'll leave it there. I have more stuff coming. It's going to be primarily a motorcycle adventuring channel, but there's been a couple things that have gotten in the way of that. So I'm going to start my channel with some other things and I'll also do some updates, some videos on some modifications I did to my bike. But I'll leave it there, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in.